XRP and crypto as a whole have been overhyped and exposed over the last 12 months. From narratives of the $1,000 XRP, the $100 XRP, or the $1,000,000 Bitcoin, $5,000 Ethereum, the super cycle that has been promised and overhyped over and over and over again has not yet come to pass, and it's not going to, at least not in the way, or at least not in the traditional way that's been explained on YouTube up to this point. Now, some good news for you. The death of the AI videos seems to be on the cusp. YouTube is fighting back against the AI created videos. It's getting too hard to tell. So you should be receiving a notification of some sort if a video is AI in the near future. So to be on the lookout for overhyped and scams and things like that, keep a lookout for the AI videos, but also you need to do your due diligence, okay? How many people clicked this video just because it said XRP exposed? You need to keep an eye out on what those clickbait titles are, because we are here to build a concept for the long view. Crypto is not a scam, right? The narratives can be overhyped, but the narratives do have value. They just need to be presented in the right way. I'm not here to tell you that XRP or any crypto is going to moon. But what I do want to do is give you the real information so you can make an informed decision. We cover the news every single day at noon. We cover the infrastructure plays. We cover the tokenized financial system that is being built right now. Okay? It's about more than one asset. It's about building out an infrastructure that you can invest in and a system that you can invest in over the long term. That's why we follow the news every single day on XRP. I'm also now including the other pillars of my infrastructure investments, including Ondo, Canton Network, HBAR, Chainlink, gold, silver, copper, and REITs, many more as well. So that is the entire gist, but we do have a ton of news today, and as always, engage in the chat. The chat is the lifeblood of the stream. I see you guys signing off right now, and for those of my regulars that are already in here, help stoke the fire as we get some newbies in, as you start seeing that total climb, because we want to grow this thing out as far as possible to get more like-minded individuals to build for the long view so they can set themselves up for the best situation possible moving forward. Now, let's take a look at what's actually happening today in crypto, and I do have a ton of news for you on more than just XRP. I have Ondo, I have Chainlink, I have Canton Network, we have XRP and Ripple news. We have it all. We have government news, we have Clarity Act news. There is a ton of information to cover today, and we are going to cover every single bit of it. And yes, I actually saw that pop off in there real quick. I'll bring that up because that is a crucial piece of information. So Todd's telling us that the Fed announcement is happening today at 2 p.m. Eastern as well. Will we get a rate cut? Will we not get a rate cut? Who knows? We will have to find out. But that is also coming today too, and can impact what's going to happen with price moving forward. So today, XRP is at $1.91. The overall crypto space is doing pretty well today. Our regular plays are doing well. Canton Network's doing well. Ondo's doing well. XRP is up a couple percent. Hyperliquid's doing extremely well. So right now, everything's but for the month, again, we're here for the long view, right? Not day-to-day prices don't really do anything for us unless you're day trading. But green days make everybody feel good, right? So let's look at the month. For the month, our overall plays are still doing okay. I mean, Canton Network's up 24% for the month. XRP is up 3% for the month. Ondo's down 10%. Chainlink's down almost 5%. So really, there's only a few winners for the month right now. Looks like Canton, Hype, Pepe, and a couple others are our big winners going on for the month. But we are here for the long view, and a lot of people are really excited about Canton Network. That's one of the big plays that we started talking about at the beginning of the month. So if you've been here for a while, I have been standing on my little soapbox screaming about Canton Network for a while now. But I also do have a full Canton Network breakdown video on the channel you can go take a look at, and I'm working on one for Ondo right now. I actually sent it off to an editor, so hopefully this one comes out a little bit better, as opposed to my normal edits, if you will. Who's editing it? Ed edited it. I wanna hire an editor named Ed, just so I can say Ed edited it all the time. All right, so moving forward, ETFs right now currently at 12.5 million of inflows, I believe. Let me refresh and double check. 12.6 million. So 12.6 million, and Franklin Templeton is really getting behind XRP. I've been seeing them all over X. I mean, it seems like that is their play, right? As well as Japan, right? Japan and XRP over the last week have been insane. It's just news. But what do we have to worry about? We do still have to worry about a potential looming government shutdown at the end of the month due to hostilities in Minnesota. How about that? We'll leave it at that. So due to hostilities in Minnesota and funding over Homeland Security with ICE, et cetera, there could be a partial government shutdown. Now, that being said, that's not going to stop anything. It's just negotiation tactics right now, because even if they do a partial shutdown, it's not going to stop ICE because they have supplemental funding outside of the government. It's just going to hurt the Clarity Act. Now, again, a lot of people are confused. Again, lots of confusion. I did an update video on this as well. But there is lots of confusion in regards to the Clarity Act and what's happening this week, okay? The Clarity Act is not passing this week, okay? They're working on the markups. That's it, okay? Again, it's not best case scenario is it's done by April, okay? We're going to be lucky if it gets done before midterms. Truthfully, that's what we're looking at right now in regards to the Clarity Act. And the Clarity Act is important. If we really want institutions to start investing trillions and quadrillions into this, they need to have the rules. It's important. That's why we're not seeing it. Now, again, you can always follow me on X if you want to get this information before the streams or before it makes it into a video. But we do have a ton of news, not only on X, but I also have articles. This is going to be a longer one, guys, so strap in, hang out, and we will get into the chat and do a recap once we get through everything for anyone who came in late. But PayPal's latest survey shows 39% of US merchants now accept crypto at checkout, and 84% believe that crypto payments will be common within the next 5 years. Switzerland now offers 0% capital gains tax on Bitcoin and crypto. So Germany and Switzerland are looking good if you want to escape capital gains taxes on your crypto. Wisdom Tree expands tokenized funds to Solana. More tokenized funds coming on chain. Solana is looking like the place to be for onboarding stocks and ETFs and things like that. They just got 200 via Ondo not too long ago. SEI, Ondo's tokenized US treasuries are now live on SEI. Again, Ondo tokenization is hot. USDY by Ondo Finance is one of the most adopted tokenized treasury products in the market, with over 1.2 billion in circulation. And now you can use it on the fastest L1 for lending, collateral, savings, and more on SEI. So Ondo is now live on SEI. Ray Dalio. Now, I talk about the debasement trade, right? That's why I am so invested in infrastructure plays for the futures. I say cash is trash, cash flow is king. I talk about gold, silver, copper. All of these things are a hedge against the deflation or the debasement of our currency. I have a couple of things I want you guys to see, just to think about and give yourself a different perspective when you're building moving forward in regards to cash. Okay, so let me get this one to the beginning for you so you can watch it real quick. Here we go. Let me get this going.
So, for example, last year, American markets significantly underperformed foreign markets, and people don't quite realize that. And the best asset class, in a sense, was gold, but think of that as being the money. So, in answer to your question, I've learned, that was a lesson I learned, that if there's a depreciation in the value of money, it makes everything look like it's going up. So, for example, last year...
I know that's a really basic concept, but when people see people they respect, they tend to listen a little bit better. But yeah, when they are depreciating the dollar, right? When the dollar is becoming worth less and less and less, it makes everything look like it's going up. What's been happening? Gold at all-time highs, silver at all-time high, copper at all-time high, stock market at all-time high. That should tell you a story of what's happening to our dollar, because it doesn't feel good at the grocery store. It doesn't feel good Well, I mean, it does right now because inflation is actually going down. But compared to what it, compared to some of the things we've been dealing with over the last 10 years, it feels good right now at the gas pump. But groceries are still much more expensive than they were 5 years ago. It just feels good right now because we are heading into a slight deflationary period. And we're going to talk about that right now. So U.S. inflation drops to 1.16%. The Fed target is 2%. So this is what they call trueflation. It's basically a prediction of where inflation really is because the BLS reported it was at 2.7% in the last meeting, and that seems to be delayed, right? So they actually have something called trueflation, which is tracking inflation in real time. Now the Fed targets 2% inflation as a healthy government, or as a healthy economy, excuse me. So the fact that the trueflation is now down to 1.16% means inflation is falling faster than they can cut rates. So could we get a larger rate cut? Probably not. But I do think when Trump gets his new Fed chair in there, then we are going to see strong rate cuts, because if we do get into a deflationary period, that is terrible for an economy. But as we're talking about debasement and we're talking about the degradation of our US dollar, we talk about what Ray Dalio just said, okay? Here's another person that's really important. This is a longer clip, but I swear if you're a fan of the long view, you need to be a fan of Warren Buffett. I mean, it's just how it is. So let's take a look what he has to say about the US dollar right now. Bear with me, it's a little bit longer, but I promise you, this is gold.
And obviously, we wouldn't want to be owning anything that we thought was in a currency that was really going to hell. And that's the big thing we worry about with the United States currency. I mean, the tendency of a government to want to debase its currency over time is, there's no system that beats that. You can pick dictators, you can pick representatives, you can do anything. But the people, there will be a push toward weaker currencies. And of course, that is, I mentioned very briefly in the annual report that the fiscal policy is what scares me in the United States, because it's made the way it is. And all the motivations are doing a lot of things that can cause trouble with money. But that's not limited to the United States.
He said that will cause, and changed his sentence, said can cause trouble. No, it will cause trouble, Mr. Buffett. Stick to your words. You know it's going to cause trouble. All right. We are having issues with the degradation of the US dollar, and we are seeing it clear as day play out in the stock market in gold, silver, copper, and infrastructure assets. This is only going to get worse. They're about to start quantitative easing and really turning on the money printer. If they cut rates hard while Japan is hiking, we could see some of those repo and liquidity crises that were predicted in some of those hype videos with XRP. But that also comes with extreme pain. And I see you guys blowing up the chat. I do appreciate it, but we have more. And I will come into the chat. We're going to talk about everything. Keep the energy going. This is going to be a massive stream because Scott Bessent says we are going to have a non-inflationary boom in 2026. He's literally arguing against what Warren Buffett just said in that video. He says there will be a non-inflationary boom. What does that mean? Let's find out what that means.
Inflation's coming back down towards the Fed's target. We're seeing rents drop. We're seeing gasoline drop. We're seeing President Trump out there fighting every day for lower drug costs, and we're going to see that. And again, affordability has two components, and we're going to see real wages go up for working Americans. So controlling cost, wages up, and as I said, these big tax refunds. So I think we're going to have a boom in 2026. And The important thing here is it's going to be a non-inflationary boom, and I think it could really extend for several years. Inflation's
a non-inflationary boom that could extend for several years. Okay, where is this money coming from? Where's these extra wages coming from? Where is this stimulus coming from? Where are these tax return money coming from if you're still pumping up the national debt? If you're just, widening the balance sheet and calling it good, that's still inflationary. Hate to say it, Scott Besson, I don't believe a damn word you're saying right now. Now, if they do pump the markets full of money, which it fully looks like that's the plan, okay? If they do pump the markets full of money, we will see a boom. And then we will see high inflation years from now, just like we saw in 2020 and 2021, where we saw the boom. And then years later, we got hit with the heavy inflation, and we're just now coming out of it. So they're planning to repeat the cycle. Trump did it once. He's going to do it again. History is there for you to learn the lessons, okay? If we didn't prepare ourselves the first time in 2020, 2021, some of us did. Some of the people sitting here in this chat, I know for a fact, prepared themselves previous to 2020 and made out like a bandit afterwards. I think we're going to see something very, very similar in 2026, 2027, not financial advice. And again, nothing in these streams is ever financial advice. It's just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only. I will be the first person to tell you to go do your own research, but my goal is to give you a different perspective on how to look at things so you can look at it through a lens that's not overhyped and put yourself in the best situation possible to take advantage and move forward. Now, we got more, but wait, there's more. XRP will continue to be at the heart of the Ripple vision. Our president, Monica Long, will dive deeper into our evolution strategy with the community on February 11th. So again, Community Day for XRP on X at February 11th. They're going to be doing it at 3 different time zones to make sure everyone gets involved. Now, there's something else that's coming up in February that's awfully close to this, and there's been the rumor mill flying, and that is Ondo having their community summit on February 3rd with rumors of a partnership between Ondo and XRP potentially getting announced. Again, that is speculation, rumor, but those two events are mighty close together, and Ondo has been going out full force. We just talked about them releasing, Wisdom Tree stocks, right? And then also tokenized treasuries going on SEI. So Ondo is fast and furious right now. Chainlink says Chainlink real-time environment CRE unlocks private smart contracts so institutions can move the entire financial operations on chain. Again, right now what we are looking at is traditional finance moving on to blockchain at record rates. Okay, just imagine what we were talking about tokenization 6 months ago versus where it is now. It is accelerating at a pace that is, this might be done in 3 years at this rate. They are not stopping. Canton Network says the next wave won't look like crypto. Let's see what they actually have to say about what's going to look like the next wave of crypto.
Over the course of the next year, maybe as quickly as over the next 6 months, you'll start to see access to like global dollar-denominated bank accounts through really friendly regulatory regimes in certain jurisdictions that are actually quite attractive. So to be someone almost anywhere in the world that could create a dollar-denominated bank account, and that's the experience that will be exposed to them. What it actually is on the back end may be some interesting virtual account connectivity and ultimately a stablecoin holding and a U.S. Treasury or money market fund. But the way it'll be presented is a globally accessible U.S. dollar bank account. And I think that that's going to be quite disruptive in a bunch of jurisdictions and markets. I think over the course of the
So over the next 6 months, it's going to be unrecognizable, but it's going to bring basically bank account access to the US dollar bank account access to the entire globe, right? Of places that did not have access to the dollar, that did not have access to invest and money markets, stocks, ETFs, and things like that. So this is going to open it up to billions of people who did not have access to this before. It's a lot of money that's going to come in over the next 6 to 12 months that just did not have access to these markets in the past. All right. Chainlink. Turtle has entered a strategic partnership with Chainlink to bring institutional liquidity on chain. Turtle is exclusively using CCIP and data feeds to power its liquidity infrastructure and support major institutions moving on chain with Chainlink. So Chainlink partnering with Turtle. Canton Network was not designed for a cycle. It was designed for production, built deliberately over years alongside institutions. Momentum comes from the fundamentals. So Canton Network is out there advertising fastly and furiously. Smoke wants to remind everybody that Ripple and Stellar have secured strategic access to the DTCC's 2.5 quadrillion settlement network via securrency integration. So XRPL does have access to the DTCC as well via securrency, which has a partnership with Ripple. Now, those are just that's just the news on X, everybody. We still have more to go. I told you, man, there was a ton of information. Buckle up, strap in, get some popcorn, grab another cup of coffee, something, because we still got more to go. So I wanted to talk briefly about HBAR. McLaren Racing sponsorship on 25th January 2026. Overview: Hedera Foundation became the official sponsor of McLaren's Formula One and IndyCar teams in a multi-year deal. The partnership focuses on releasing free digital collectibles during race weekend. So if you enjoy racing, I know we have one race fan in here. I don't know if he's in the stream today, but they are designed to be accessible without requiring fans to hold HBAR or manage crypto wallets. McLaren selected Hedera over alternatives like Ethereum for fast, low-fee hashgraph consensus. What this means is this is bullish for HBAR because it drives real-world adoption and brand recognition with a global audience, directly showcasing the network's utility for scalability, user-friendly applications. So, new partnership agreement for HBAR. Chainlink and Turtle, we just covered that, but Chainlink partners with Turtle to bring institutional liquidity on chain. Is this more Turtle information? Yep, Turtle explains what Turtle does. We don't need to keep covering the same thing. I didn't realize I covered so many on that. Here's the other one. Chainlink Labs partners with WeMade and KRW Stablecoin Alliance. Chainlink, let's see here, blah, 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 led by WeMade to enhance ecosystem for Korean won-backed stablecoins. Technical and institutional expertise with Chainlink Labs collaboration, the alliance gains access to advanced Oracle and data infrastructure platforms, strengthening global compliance and robust stablecoin infrastructure. The alliance already includes partners with Chain Analysis, Certica, CentB, making it a comprehensive consortium. So again, Chainlink expanding out in Korea. But wait, there's more. Ondo Finance becomes the largest provider of tokenized treasuries and stocks. Popular tokenization platform Ondo Finance has now surpassed $2.5 billion in total locked value across tokenization products, the company announced on January 23rd. The milestone makes Ondo Finance the largest platform for tokenized U.S. treasuries and tokenized stocks, according to the data from On-Chain Analysis. So Ondo is so far leading the way in tokenization. It's a good thing. We've been talking about that for a while too, right? Tokenization, interoperability, the key facets moving forward over the next probably 3 to 5 years are going to be tokenization, interoperability, and payments, right? Payments, because payments save money. So digital asset, remember the company behind Canton Network is Digital Asset. Digital Asset and Connexus by JP Morgan announced intention to bring USD JPM coin natively to the Canton Network. Remember who backs Canton? We've talked about this. Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, all of those things. These are the people that have been backing Digital Asset and the Canton Network. Okay? So now JP Morgan's bringing their stable coin to Canton. That is incredible. If they're not showing their hand on what private blockchain they're wanting to use, it's pretty apparent at this point. So that is all of the news. Let's hop into the chat and see what everyone else has to say today. I see you guys signing off in the chat. I appreciate it. We are going to cover everything and we are going to talk to everyone, and then we will do a recap for everyone that came in late. So let's see who's here today. Let me get into the right screen for this. So, all right. Todd Madison. Let me see here. Yeah, there we go. Todd Madison was first in the house. He said hello today. Sir Charles liked the title. Well, it's because I'm sick of the hype, right? Like, how do I get people interested in XRP and the actual genuine news without, overhyping everything? Because people don't click on it. Resident B is in the house today. Sir Charles also here already. Quelly79 made it in the house saying what's up today. Raul's in here. We have, again, I caught this earlier, but we do have the Fed announcement at 2 p.m. Eastern today about potential rate cuts that could have an impact on the market. I'm not thinking as much. I'm more worried about the government shutdown, to be honest with you. Todd said he forgot that it was today. You have the good news when everything's going green. Well, everyone loves a green day, right? When price goes up, man, everyone smiles. Green days always make for the good days, says Stephen Haynes. And Raul says CC is going up. You're right. It is. It's up 7% today. It's been doing well this month, and I am closing on my house today. So I'm going to, or not today, closing on my house on Friday. So I'm going to influx in capital, and I am about to go on a shopping spree over the next few months for some crypto. So I honestly hope the government shuts down so the price drops a little bit. Again, I don't want any of you to lose money, but that's my own selfish reasons of wanting to get in there a little bit more, because I'm going to have quite a buying opportunity, at least the way I look at it. Not financial advice to anyone. Do your own research. Let's see here. Coley says, don't forget to mention that if you're a U.S. citizen, you cannot take advantage of the 0% capital gains in other countries, even if you reside there. You have to declare taxes in the U.S. That's right. If you're a U.S. resident, you have to declare, or if you're a U.S. citizen, you have to declare taxes for the U.S. So yes, you will not be partial to that. We still need to see what they are going to do with capital gains tax on crypto here in the U.S. Cynthia says, the longer it takes for XRP price appreciation, the riskier it is as innovation moves fast. Something else will mitigate the need for XRP. Your thoughts? Well, let's look at it this way. These banks do not move fast. How long has SWIFT been in place before it's just now being forced to change by blockchain technology? So I don't think someone's going to jump in and hop right to it. And also that's why we do our research and we diversify, right? I've always said it's not going to be just one asset that rises to the top. I do believe XRP has the best potential for return on investment. That's why it holds the most weight in my personal portfolio. But that is the risk we take as investors, period. Because we have been investing in crypto, and we have been investing in things that don't have regulations, unregulated assets since we started investing in it. That is the definition of speculation. Now, we do have to worry about new technologies coming out, but in the banking system and in the payment sector, the infrastructure that Ripple has laid out for XRP, that is not nothing. That is not built quickly, and that is not adopted quickly. Just because of the infrastructure alone that Ripple has built out for XRPL gives me tremendous backing in it over any other coin, even over Canton Network, which I love because I've been saying it at length. But again, I always say follow the money, and there has been a lot of money invested in the XRPL and behind it. Again, we still don't have clarity yet. I understand the longer it takes, the more nervous we get, but we are here for the long view, right? What things are going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, not necessarily what things are today or what they look like they might be next week. My opinion, not financial advice, but do your own research. I know it is difficult to hold faith when it's been doing nothing for a year but really, truthfully, if we look at it as a whole, the entire crypto industry has done absolutely nothing for a year. The entire crypto industry has gotten beat up with the exception of Zcash and XMR, right? So, I mean, really, nothing has done well. So I can't even sit there and say, something else is beating it, because the only probably biggest competitor for XRP is cross-border payments, and I don't really know other than what Stronghold, which it hasn't really been doing anything. So I don't get nervous in that regard with it, because I'm looking at it 10 years down the road, not necessarily today. And I know that they're not all going to be winners, but that's part of the risk that I'm willing to take as an investor. And so it's the risks we should be aware of, to be truthful with you. Crypto Roger said hello to everybody. Sir Charles said Bitwise said crypto has 3 years to become indispensable. If regulation stalls, what does that look like for XRP holders? Do we need to see banks actually using it at scale? Well, yes, I do believe so. If it's not being used, right? If it's not being used, it has no value, right? I mean, what's the value of XRP if it's not being used, right? That's the real question. So if regulation goes away, or regulation changes to where they don't need to use it, who knows? I'm not trying to be Chicken Little and say sky is falling here, but who knows? What if they go around and said, oh, we find a way, we're going to do everything with stable coins, we don't need any of these native tokens? That is possible. Not likely, but possible. Okay? And that's why we follow the news every day. That's why we follow regulations every day. That's why clarity and getting something signed in the law is so vitally important, because it secures blockchain moving forward. That's why I follow the Clarity Act and what's actually happening with that probably closer than I do the news. Just me. Sir Charles was saying hi to Crypto Roger. They're just talking back and forth. Sir Charles says, if Powell does announce a replacement this week, how do you think the market reacts short-term versus long-term? Well, short-term, I think if there's an announcement that we are going to have a Fed chair that is very loose, to say the least, I think initially when that announcement happens, we will see an increase. We will see a pump. But then when they actually take the position, we might see a sell the news event. And I do think we're going to see more rate cuts in the future, regardless of who Trump puts in there. It's going to be someone that's going to cut rates, right? So I do think we're going to see aggressive rate cutting this year, and I do think we're going to see quantitative easing this year, and I do think we're going to see a lot of liquidity pumped into the market. I think I don't want to say what all the hype narratives and everything we're predicting last year is going to happen this year. That's not what I'm trying to say. But looking at gold shooting up, looking at silver shooting up, looking at what the rates are now and the inflation reports and what's happening in the geopolitical light right now with everything going on, it is, I don't know. This next year is going to be full of a lot of uncertainty. And if they're turning the money printer on, assets will rise. So do your research, position yourself accordingly, and position yourself in the assets that you have conviction in. Because ultimately, if you've done your research, it shouldn't really matter what I say on here, right? You should be able to call me an idiot if you don't agree. I'm just a person on the internet. You guys are smart. Poly market odds on the Clarity Act dropped from 80% to 50% after Coinbase pulled support. Well, yeah, they did. But I mean, we talked about that too. Coinbase went straight back to the table, right? I mean, within days, that whole thing got walked back. He sounds like Kennedy. I'm not sure who sounds like Kennedy. It must have been one of the videos. I don't think I sound like Kennedy. But three of you all seem to agree. Gilbert says, bro, what about XLM? Again, XLM is one of my dart throws. I do hold some XLM, but I didn't pull up any XLM news today. I can certainly add that in. I'm trying to keep everything going. I can cover all crypto news. We can just sit here and I can go through I could do a 1-hour show just covering every crypto news. I love crypto. I love looking at it. I love talking about it. I love doing all of it. So I could do that for you guys if you want, if you would find that entertaining. But truly, if I'm being honest, I try to really focus on my core principles, and my 5 core cryptocurrencies, again, are XRP, Canton Network, HBAR, Chainlink, and Ondo. Right? We're building out the infrastructure ecosystem, right? The entire tokenized financial ecosystem. That is the goal. Now, I don't have Solana or Ethereum. And again, I talked yesterday after BlackRock came out and said they're going to do their Bitcoin, their income producing Bitcoin ETF. I was talking yesterday that I'm gonna have to work my way back into some Bitcoin. The money behind it is, I mean, BlackRock's doubling down on it at this point. So I mean, I just can't ignore it at this point. You guys did great on the chat, by the way. I love it. Damian Voss says, "Was good, Longview." He said he noticed that nobody really talks about HBAR, considering that they have some of the major players in tech and financial institutions. Well, that's why we do our research, right? If it's not catching highlights, a lot of times people on YouTube won't talk about it if it's not already pumping or doing something. And that's why we try to really look at the infrastructure that's being laid out before the pump. And then when people are like, "Oh, you got lucky." No. We've been studying this for a long time, right? Resident 87 or Resident B said, "I appreciate the HBAR content, Long. You're welcome." And again, yeah, Crypto Roger put up there. My name is Scott. If you guys want to use Scott instead of Longview or LV. We do talk about HBAR, no feds, please. Great news for you on the house. Yes, it is. Yeah, the house is good. It's been if I'm being truthful with you about the house, it's not even just about like the financial element of it. But this is the house I bought over 10 years ago. I literally bought this house from my ex-wife. So I've been divorced for 2 years now. She left 3 years ago, and there's it's time to let it go. It was a bad time to sell a house, but I can do with a fresh change of scenery without being reminded of things in every room I walk into. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that portion of it as well. It's kind of like literally the house is. So in the last 3 years, for those of you who know, I had multiple strokes, got divorced. Now I'm on long-term disability and lost my job. So over the last 3 years, it's been this major shift, and really the house is the last part. It's the last piece of the puzzle that I've been holding on to. So after the house, it's a complete fresh start. Resident B says, "What do you think is the biggest false narrative or misconception in crypto right now?" The biggest misconception to me in crypto right now is, just because it's the one that's talked about the most, is that XRP doesn't need clarity because it already has clarity. I see that. I still get pushback on that all the time. I'm like, no, it has negative clarity. We have clarity on what it's not. It has not been defined on what it is, right? And again, having legislative clarity is what allows institutions, banks, and things like that, the large players, to invest the capital into it because they know it's not going to change, right? The rules aren't going to change with a new administration once it's written into law. I sure as hell wouldn't put trillions or billions of dollars into something if I don't know I'm still going to be able to use it in a few years, right? My opinion, not financial advice, but to me, that's what I think the biggest false narrative is that I hear all the time, is that XRP already has legal clarity because the SEC case said that they are not a security. Sir Charles says, "Powell keeps talking about a soft landing, but gold just hit 5,200, silver's at 115, and the dollar is at a 4-year low." You just connected all the dots yourself there, Sir Charles. What do you need me for? So what you're saying is Powell is full of it because the numbers tell you the correct story. Well done, sir. I'm proud of you, Sir Charles. He says, "When the global financial shift really accelerates, do you think we'll see a gradual transition, or does history suggest these things tend to break suddenly?" Well, my opinion, again, speculation warning, but this is just me. If we are going to see a global financial shift, right, that means there's going to be unwilling participants. And if there's unwilling participants, it's going to need some kind of chaos, right? They will try to soft land and avoid chaos at all possible ways, right? That's why we were watching the video on the debasement element of it, right, with Ray Dalio. and Warren Buffett talking about how crap the dollar is right now. So I think we're still a little ways out from the dollar essentially blowing up. I mean, this is going to continue for a while. But I think when it does, I think it's going to be a gradual, steady incline for probably a few years, or it'll be a crisis event that inflicts major pain, like what Jake Claver was talking about with, you know, the reverse carry trade and the liquidity crisis, and right. And if, again, what's going to cause this massive shift is going to be a failure of the current system. And if there's a failure of the current system, there will be pain. I don't want that for anyone. So it'll either be it'll either be a gradual run, or there's going to be some kind of chaotic trauma event. And really, truthfully, if you want a little taste of speculation, because this is one of my theories, right? One of my theories anyway, is that I do believe there is going to be a catastrophic event at some point. Again, pure speculation. I could see them doing a catastrophic event like cutting off the internet or having a major power outage or something like that. But think about it, if they turned off the internet for a week, what would happen to our country? If we just lost the internet for a week, right? Everything would come to a screeching halt. Nothing could function. That's a really easy way to come back and say we need to put in this digital ID for security purposes to make sure this never happens again, right? I could totally see them doing something like that. And that's what I'm worried about as well. So again, why I watch these things. The digital IDs and private security is very, very scary to me when it comes to XRP or any cryptocurrency for that matter. Stephen Haynes says, hypothetically, if you had 5K to put in, would you choose XRP or CC? Well, based on my current, hypothetically, if I had 5K to put in, I would invest into each of my pillars equally and dollar cost average in over time. But if you're asking me which one I'm more excited about to put money into right now, I'm honestly equally excited about both of them. And given the fact that Canton just pumped a little bit, it might not be the best purchase option right now. It might be XRP while it's at a lower price. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but I will be picking up all of my pillars, as well as some dart throws, and I'm also looking into purchasing some more real estate, or in this case, REITs that are going to pay me a dividend on some AI data centers. And again, doing research on that, but those are the things I'm looking into personally, as well as I'll be investing in the channel, hopefully doing an equipment upgrade, improving the streams, everything like that. So I want to not only invest in my assets, but I want to invest in my business. That's the goal, right? Cash flow is king. And again, speaking of cash flow, memberships are open for everyone. We will be doing a weekly membership live stream, right? Members live stream is tonight at 7 p.m. You will also get all the founding members, right? Any of the first 100 members will be considered a founding member, and you will get everything else that comes out for the channel memberships down the line, including a weekly newsletter, any classes or courses that may come out later. NFTs, I'm working on an NFT project so I can start doing a daily stream giveaway of NFTs, just collectibles, something to make it fun and entertaining. So be on the lookout of that. I'm working on that as well. Just trying to actually make it a show and make it fun, as opposed to just reading the news and talking about whatever thing is going on that day. Crypto Mercenary said hello today. Welcome back, Crypto Mercenary. And again, if you guys are new to the stream, be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, share it far and wide. Try to get the non-hype crypto out there to the masses so we can build for the long view and actually get people to a place where they have some freedom and some peace and they are not overstressed and overburnt out all the time. Sir Charles said he forgot that too. Not sure. Oh, Buffett sounded like Kennedy. Okay. Yeah, he does kind of sound like Kennedy a little bit, doesn't he? Gunpowder says Grayscale follows new XRP trust update with the SEC. What would that be big news for Grayscale? Okay. I actually meant to talk about that yesterday, Gunpowder. I'm glad you brought it up. Because you just reminded me. You're going to see a lot of these amendments to current ETFs and stuff like that. What they're doing is they're adding new pairs right? They're starting to add crypto pairs like USDC, USDT, like they're starting to add in the tokenized element of it. So they have to adjust what it compare with on the blockchain. So we're seeing that. And I also saw that, I think it was Grayscale put in a change to purchase more shares, right? Order creation for more shares, which is good, right? Order creation means more XRP is being pulled into ETFs, right? Order creation means more XRP has to be bought in order to cover those shares as spot holdings. Sir Charles says it's time for change. Yeah, it is time for a change. I'm tired of seeing number go down. It's time for some green. It's time to see number go up. No, it is time for a change as far as selling the house. Yeah, no, I'm not moving to Maui. I wish I was moving to Maui. I still have my daughter's 13, so I can't go too far. We do 1 week on, 1 week off, and she does use my residence for school. So I'm going to be still staying locally until my daughter is graduated and my girlfriend's daughter is graduated. But then I am ready to travel. The sky is the limit. I'm looking at Japan. I've already been invited to Taiwan, Maui, Texas. I've got places to go everywhere thanks to Longview Compute. I appreciate all of you. Let's see here. Financial Freedom says, I disagree. Clarity Act will be done way before April. Well, I hope you're right, Financial Freedom. You're much more optimistic about it than me. I'll be happy if it gets done before midterms, but if it gets done sooner, I will happily be wrong. Happily be wrong. Raul says, I meet one of my goals on XRP, on to the next. Okay. So you have a number that you're trying to reach for XRP, and then once you hit that specific number, you're moving to the next asset and your dollar cost averaging in. That's an excellent way to do it, for sure. Fox News just talked about the Japanese reverse carry trade. Well, they are supposed to be hiking rates today, either today or tomorrow in Japan. But again, we've known that since 2 rate hikes ago, that they had already planned on doing 3 additional rate hikes this year, including one in January. That should be baked into the system, but I don't know. Digital ID is something to do with the beast system. I don't think necessarily it has to do with the beast system. I know what you're referencing, but if you get into digital ID, that's when they can start policing you based on like social score, carbon footprint. Like, could you imagine, like, they have you on digital ID, so your house is checked and everything. They're like, nope, you hit your internet limit for today. You can't use more internet. Nope, you've hit your beef limit for today. Oh, we're implementing a curfew. You're not back at your house by this time. And they'll be able to track all of that. It's already going live in places like China. They're already starting to work on it. Okay, that is my biggest fear when we talk about CBDCs and digital ID. It's a method of global control, and I don't like it. If I start seeing, I will tell you this, I have my plans, but if I start seeing that come to light in the United States, I'm selling everything and moving to the woods. I'll be perfectly content. But if the digital ID comes out later, everybody, I don't think I'm going to be able to stream anymore, because I don't think I'll be able to stream without having a digital ID. But I'm perfectly fine. I'll go to the woods. I can hunt. I can grow. I can fish. I'll be perfectly fine. I just need some cover, and it'll all be good. Race Fan did join. I was talking about you, Race Fan. I'm about to do the recap for everyone who came in late. And Sir Charles said digital ID will give them the all-seeing eye. That is exactly correct, and that is why we do not like digital ID. Digital ID bad. Let's do a recap for everyone who came in late, though. We are 49 minutes in. There was a lot of news today, so I'm going to blow through this as fast as possible. Get the chat going, guys. Engage in the chat. We still have a lot more to go, and I appreciate talking to everybody. Oh, my goodness. Whew. Let me catch my breath and get a drink. I've been going hard today. All right. So XRP is at $1.91. Again, still chopping between $2 and $1.75. When we are looking at a breakout for XRP, We always pull back to the 1 week chart. Again, we need to clear EMA 9 with volume. Every breakout in the history of XRP has been shown that way, and we can see it on the chart. Again, we look at data, facts, figures, numbers, logic, real things that are happening. Overall today, it's a green day. Green is good. Everything's up today. Canton Network's up today. Ondo's up today. HBAR's up today. XRP's up a little bit today. Bitcoin's up today. It's a good day to be a crypto holder in general. But again, our 5 core plays are Chainlink, XRP, Ondo, Canton Network, and HBAR. Everyone is welcome to their own, but those are my 5 when it comes to my infrastructure plays and what I am looking into as far as what's happening with the tokenized financial ecosystem moving forward in the next 5 to 10 years. I want to make sure that I place myself in these layers. And again, you could have your own. What are you guys looking at? What other cryptos would you like to see on here? What layer does it fall into? I'm curious. What layer are you most interested in? What layer do you think is going to have the biggest impact in the next 5 years moving forward here? So anyway, back to the information. So we covered what's actually happening in the crypto market today as far as what's what, but Fed announcement in a few minutes at the top of the hour. We can stream that live if we get to it. I'll try to find it live for y'all and we can watch it live. Let's see. 13 million in inflows so far today. Not bad. Again, we still have account set activity spiked at 40K and maintaining it, and continuously over $1 million worth of payments every single day. Again, we want to see that climb to over 2 million, but we do still track it every single day. 75% chance of a government shutdown this month still looming. It's not looking good over the next couple days. Again, follow me on X if you want to see these things before they actually make it to a stream or before they make it to a video. But we had a ton of news to cover, so we're going to go through it real quick, rapid fire. All right, so PayPal says 39% of merchants now accept crypto, with 84% scheduled to believe they will happen in the next 5 years. Switzerland now offers 0% capital gains tax on Bitcoin. Wisdom Tree expands tokenized funds to Solana. Ondo's tokenized U.S. Treasuries are live on SEI effective today. Ray Dalio is warning people that it is going to be bad, and we can see it playing out. Here you go. Pay attention. Let's listen.
So, for example, last year, American markets significantly underperformed foreign markets, and people don't quite realize that. And the best asset class, in a sense, was gold, but think of that as being the money. So, in answer to your question, okay, I've learned, that was a lesson I learned, that if there's a depreciation in the value of money, it makes everything look like it's going up. So
if money is getting cheaper, everything else looks like it's going up. It's pretty basic concept, but people like to hear other people say it. U.S. true inflation drops to 1.16%. The Fed's target is 2%. Powell is trapped. He must cut rates urgently, and we're about to find out here in the next few minutes. I'm not going to play the video, but we talked about Warren Buffett basically calling the U.S. dollar trash and the United States financial policy garbage, saying that he's trying to get away from the U.S. dollars. He doesn't think it's a good asset. Scott Bessent came on to talk about what's going on. Let's see what Scott Bessent had to say.
Coming back down towards the Fed's target. We're seeing rents drop. We're seeing gasoline drop. We're seeing President Trump out there fighting every day for lower drug costs, and we're going to see that. And again, affordability has 2 components, and we're going to see real wages go up for working Americans. So controlling cost, wages up, and as I said, these big tax refunds. So I think we're going to have a boom in 2026. And Sean, the important thing here is it's going to be a non-inflationary boom, and I think it could really extend for several years.
Scott Bessent thinks we're going to have a non-inflationary boom that extends for several years with prices down, wages up, and large tax returns. They're talking about injection of capital entering the market. That is bullish. Reese Merrick says XRP will continue to be the heart of the Ripple vision. Our president, Monica Long, will dive deeper into our evolution and strategy with the community on February 11th. Excuse me. So, Ripple Community Day on February 11th. Chainlink runtime CRE unlocks private smart contracts so institutions can move entire financial operations on chain. They are literally setting up entire operations on chain. Canton Network said the next wave won't look like crypto.
I think over the course of the next year, maybe as quickly as over the next 6 months, you'll start to see access to like global dollar-denominated bank accounts through really friendly regulatory regimes in certain jurisdictions that are actually quite attractive. So to be someone almost anywhere in the world that could create a dollar-denominated bank account, and that's the experience that will be exposed to them. You know, what it actually is on the back end may be some interesting virtual account connectivity and ultimately a stablecoin holding and U.S. Treasury or money market fund. But the way it'll be presented is a globally accessible U.S. dollar bank account. And I think that that's going to be quite disruptive in a bunch of jurisdictions and markets.
So basically, the entire world will have access to a U.S. dollar bank account that will be seamless, and it's going to be very disruptive on a lot of emerging economies that maybe don't have a stable currency. All right, Chainlink and Turtle have entered a strategic partnership. Canton Network is not designed for a cycle. It was designed for production, built deliberately over years alongside institutions, and momentum comes from the fundamentals. So, again, follow me on X, but this is where I was talking about you, race fan. McLaren Racing sponsorship deal, 25th January 2026. Hedera Foundation became the official sponsor of McLaren's Formula One and IndyCar teams in the multi-year deal. The partnership focuses on releasing free digital collectibles during race weekends, designed to be accessible without requiring fans to hold HBAR or manage crypto wallets. McLaren selected HBAR, over alternatives like Ethereum for its fast, low-fee hashgraph consensus. What this means is this is bullish for HBAR because it drives real-world adoption and brand recognition with a global audience, directly showcasing the network's utility for scalable, user-friendly applications. We talked about Chainlink and Turtle already. We also talked about Chainlink joining GAKS. Chainlink Labs has joined the Global Alliance for KRW Stablecoin, led by WeMade, to enhance the ecosystem for a Korean won-backed stablecoins. Technical and institutional expertise with Chainlink Labs collaboration, the alliance gains access to advanced Oracle data and infrastructure platforms, strengthening global compliance and robust stablecoin infrastructure. Ondo Finance becomes the largest provider of tokenized treasuries and stocks. Popular tokenization platform Ondo Finance surpasses $2.5 billion in total value, announced on January 23rd. What's this? We got more? This one's not coming up. Let's try this one. Okay. Digital asset Connexus by JP Morgan announced intention to bring USD JPM coin natively to the Canton Network. Again, money shows their hands, follow the money. So now we have JP Morgan and BlackRock messing with Canton Network and digital asset. Follow the money. The money tells you where to go. My opinion, not financial advice. But now we are back, done with the recap. Let's hop back into the chat. Let me see how many people are in the stream and go in here. And remember, engage in the chat. Chat is the lifeblood of the stream. When the chat dies, so does the stream. We're down to 24 people in here right now. Now 23, so people don't like to hear me talk about it, it seems. But I want to talk to everyone who is signing off in the chat. Let's see. Gunpowder says, seeing XRP more on mainstream news. Let me make sure I got the right screen up here. Yeah, I do. So he says, seeing XRP more on mainstream news. Notice Fox Business showing XRP more and more often. I really do hope so. I mean, we do need to see, we need to see more mainstream news just in crypto in general. There's still so much misinformation, or people just completely have their head stuck in the sand when it comes to just understanding cryptocurrency. They don't see how big of a role and truly what kind of wealth opportunity it is moving forward. I mean, think about how much money is going to be coming into crypto and how much money stands to be made is ridiculous. Let's see here. Zorro says digital ID bad only if you are a criminal. No, they're going to digital ID everybody. Think of it like a driver's license. Like, I do think that will happen in the future. They're going to put digital IDs on things like certificates, like your college, your college degree. They can do licensing, like if you have a medical license or something like that. They're going to put digital IDs on everything. What we need to worry about is if they start doing like a central bank digital currency and they assign every individual a digital ID to where they could track your social score, what you're spending, how you're spending it, what you're spending it on. Those are the real things we need to worry about. Zora says they can make anyone a criminal by creating more and more laws. That is also very, very true. Damian Voss says, I'm already in the woods, preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. Well, I haven't quite made it that far yet. I'm still working on that there, but that is the emergency ripcord. Maybe I should maybe instead of investing a bunch of cryptocurrency, I should just buy a piece of property so that I can retreat to later if need be. Oh, and the Fed announcement in a few minutes. Let me pull up the Fed announcement and see if we can watch it here. Let's see if we can find the Fed announcement live at this time. Let's see. Let me find it. I'm looking. All right, we found it. It's not live yet. When it goes live, I'll tell you guys. When it goes live, we'll get to it. In the meantime, we will get back to engaging in the chat. Let's see. Let me pull up my chat bar again. And when that goes live, we'll look at it. Race Fan says, busy with work. Surgical suites are humming. Holidays are over and the snowbirds want their knees and hips replaced so they can hit the links this summer. I can't wait to start golfing again this summer. That's actually one thing I am treating myself to when I close on the house. I'm buying a golf membership for the year so I can, hey, I'm not working right now. It's going to be good weather. I'll have the money to do it. I'm going to golf a lot this year. It's going to be great. And then they come back to see you again after pickleball. You guys are great, man. Race Fan says, what's up with the blue stars and wrenches? Did I miss something? Well, memberships are live now. That is one thing, but the stars and but the wrenches are, so the stars are for members and the wrenches are for my moderators, right? People who, if that way, if someone comes in and starts doing silly things in the stream, someone can kick them out and I don't have to get distracted and stop my stream to get rid of them, essentially. Let's see if this is live yet. Still not live yet. They're a little behind. Oh, it says that it's live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we still have 27 minutes till it's live. It's not going live till 2:30 Eastern. Well, darn. We can hang out and do it. I can try to keep talking until 2:30. Let's see. Race Fan 668 channel memberships are live. Yes, they are. Okay. Lisa Cotton Candy says, hey, Scott, you say the long view, but it's about to be 10 years holding XRP. It's been suppressed long enough. These banks have been doing business with Ripple for several years. Time's up. Well, they've been doing business with Ripple, but the banks haven't been using XRP, right? XRP just got out of a lawsuit in 2023, right? I say 10 years for, I mean, okay. Best contradiction to that. If you bought XRP 10 years ago, you're doing all right. Right? If you bought it for 19 cents or 20 cents, right? So what's it going to be 10 years down the road from now? Or 5 years down the road from now? And again, too, if you've lost faith in it, I'm not here to tell you what your investments are or should not be. It's up to you. You can change your investment anytime, but that is why we do research and try to understand what's happening in the market so we can make the best possible choices for ourselves moving forward. I still believe in XRP. I still believe it has a great return on investment potential, But that's me. That's up to you to decide if that's something you believe in. But I know me personally, if I were to sell it and it does what I think it's going to do, I couldn't live with that. I would be more okay with it going to zero and holding it the entire time than to sell it and watch it go and do what I think it can do. That's just my opinion. Everyone has to make their own decisions based on their situation, though. Race Fan says, that is correct. Awesome for F1 marketing. I will be increasing my HBAR percentage allocation. I thought of you as soon as I saw that. I'm like, oh, I have to cover this for Race Fan. Bert Larson says, have you ever heard of Marshall Islands rolls out universal basic income with crypto payment option? Do you think this will make its way to the States? Universal basic income. If we get universal basic income, at that point, probably crypto is the last of my concerns. Because if we get to the point where we have a universal basic income, that means people can't afford to take care of themselves. There's not enough work for people to take care of themselves. And that's a bad situation. If we get into that situation, then that means the people who are holding assets are in pretty good shape. If that were to be something to happen, that's not going to happen for years and years and years and years and years. They will drive our current system into the ground and beyond before that happens. My opinion, not financial advice, but that's what I think about that anyway. Sorry to be silent. Doctor appointment in a little while. Getting ready. You're good, Roger. No worries, man. Fed rate cut unchanged as expected. Did they make the announcement? They said that the meeting was 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Raul says, yeah, I want to know everything you do and where to spend your money. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, they kind of already do. A lot of people are scared of it, but you forget we all got these. You think these don't track everything you do, listen to you, know where you're spending your money, what you're looking at? Come on. They do. We all know. We've already made that decision. We've already given up some of that freedom. If you're carrying a cell phone, you already gave up some of that freedom. Raul says, I did get some land, need XRP to go up so I can build. There you go. I just want like a nice 2-bedroom, 1,000 square foot ranch, something easy. I don't need much. Zora says, bro, digital ID is necessary and it's connect to crypto and Web3. Everything gonna be the blockchain with digital ID. I think me and you have different thoughts on what digital ID is. I'm not talking digital ID as far as what I'm spending on blockchain and where. I'm talking a digital ID used by the government to track all of your spending, and then they can turn off what you can and can't buy if you reach limits. Like there's places right now in Japan or in China, that you can't get access to your home if you don't have the social score, right? These things are real. It is real. It's not sci-fi. It does exist. Right now, we're talking about digital ID as far as following a transaction. I'm talking about digital ID keeping your social score as a human being and what you're doing as far as how much meat you've had for the week, right? How much gasoline you've put in your car, how much energy you've consumed, okay? That is what gets concerning when they start tracking all of those things. I could care less if they know what I buy where. I mean, they already know that. They know that from credit card statements and everything else. I'm talking about when they start tracking everything we do and start having CBDCs and social scores and all of these things limiting what people can and can't do based on their digital ID. Right now, we're just talking about digital ID for transactions. I'm talking about digital ID for your life. Stephen Haynes says, do you think XRP will hold in this $1.90 range? Again, I don't see it falling below $1.75. And I'm looking for it to push through EMA 9 on the 1-week chart to confirm a breakout. It hasn't changed. Until then, we're just chopping and compressing. Again, what catalyst could potentially move that? Liquidity injections, right? Also, positive regulation news. could impact that as well. We're seeing it come in real time, and that's why I watch the account set activity. I watch the payment volume. I watch all of those things. And so yeah, I think we're going to hold in this range until we either break out or fake out. One of the two. We're in a decision-making range right now, and I think we're going to stay here until either it falls below 175 or busts through EMA 9 on the 1 week chart. Universal income on the blockchain. Wake up, guys. Yep, I'm aware of it. I don't like it. I'm aware of it. That's why I'm preparing systems to avoid it in the future. How does a membership work? Race Fans says. Okay, you can become a channel member. The membership is $7.99 per month. It's a monthly reoccurring charge. You can become membership of any channel, but what it gets you is it gets you access to the weekly live stream. It supports the channel. The proceeds go directly to the channel. You'll get a weekly live stream that will be every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. And then I'm also working on putting out a weekly newsletter that you'll gain access to. And then anything else that's announced down the line, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, any courses or any other programs that come out for the channel, you'll get access to those as well, included in what you're doing now. So as the memberships go up, founding members will still have access to everything and their price will never change. If that makes any kind of sense. So that's how the memberships work. It's a monthly reoccurring fee, but you get access to everything I have to offer you. And it helps support the channel. Also, super chats, gifts should be live. And then channel store is coming in the near future as well. And I have some partnerships coming down that I'm going to be bringing in for you guys to talk with as well. Some options for you guys. There's lots of stuff. It's fun, man. Channel is growing. Like, as the business version of the channel is growing great. It feels really, really good. Crypto Roger says, I did an inventory of my silver after selling a lot of XRP, but I still have over 200K in silver at today's prices. I mean, you've been pumping on the silver, yo. I don't know if I would still. I've been thinking about getting rid of some of mine too, honestly, but I don't want to hit the capital gains tax on it because I'm going to lose 19% of it if I sell it. I'm going to lose 19% of it in taxes. So is it worth it to me to sell it and invest it into something else with a 19% hit? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to debate right now. No, you already have digital ID now. No one going to block your money if you don't criminal. Well, I'm not a criminal, but I mean, there's going to be things like carbon scores. There's just so much that can go along with digital ID. It opens up Pandora's box as far as your personal security, and I don't like that. And I know I understand we already have digital ID in the sense they can track our transactions with bank accounts and stuff like that. But that's why they don't like crypto. That was the whole thing they didn't like crypto to begin with, is that it got away from government control. But if they start bringing that in, then we got to concern ourselves with it. We're also, it may stay like this for a month or so until something happens. It's very, very possible. Let's see here. Crypto Roger says, I think in America, the problem with trying to implement personal integrity rating is most of our population will be subpar. That is very true. They should put a personal integrity rating on people. You just see if they're an asshole across their forehead. That would make life so much easier. You know what I mean? Rolla says, I may sell my silver if it goes over 200. Tax on silver, go local jewelry and stay quiet. Well, I mean, that's one way to do it. That's if you have physical silver. But I think what a lot of people are holding are futures silver. And even if you go to a jewelry store and do it, they legally, now whether they do it or not, if it's over a certain amount, they are legally supposed to fill out a form and turn it in. But whether they do it or not is one thing, but that is how it goes. Crypto Writer says, I don't claim silver sales. That's none of their business when trading for cash. If you're doing physical silver, but if it's documented like futures or something like that on an exchange, then you have to, you have to. Sir Charles says, digital ID brings things like programmable money. If you owe money to the bank or a corporation, they can turn off your spending abilities. Yeah, that's another option. Absolutely. Man, there's a whole slew of things that they can do with digital ID. Now, I know that it's not necessarily all a bad thing, but I just don't like the whole big brother concept. And maybe that's just, maybe I'm crazy. I really don't even like carrying around a cell phone anymore, because I know this damn thing listens to me whether I like it or not. Because as soon as I talk about something and then get on there, I'll get on whatever, I have ads for it. You know what I mean? Let's see. Zoro says, I talk like this as one criminal stole my identity and did dirty stuff. Police caught him. I've had my ID stolen as well. Back during COVID, someone stole my ID and was trying to claim unemployment benefits under my name. So my social security number's out there, my email's out there. They have everything. So I actually have 2 different ID protections right now, and I actually have my social security number turned off with the government. So anytime someone tries to access anything or take out a loan or anything like that with my social security number, they have to fill out a form, have it notarized with a copy of my ID, or they can't access it. But these are the steps you have to take when you've had your ID stolen before. Raceman says, sell a few ounces to pawn shops on a regular basis. Uncle Sam doesn't need to know. Well, I mean, that is one way to liquidate your silver, but I don't think the pawn shops are going to pay you $115 an ounce right now. Rolla says, no, sir, I have my silver on hand. Okay. Sir Charles says, I think you can sell American Silver Eagles and pay no tax. Is that right? I honestly don't know the answer to that question. That's a Google challenge question. Let's see. We have a Google challenge. Google challenge. I need a button to, whenever someone asks me a question I don't know, we can do a Google challenge segment. That'd be fun, right? Let's see. Can you sell silver in the US with no tax? The U.S., you cannot legally sell silver or realize profit without it being subject to IRS key tax consideration, capital gains tax, 1099, small sales below $600 to $1,000. Sales often below $600 to $1,000 often do not trigger automatic 1099-B reporting, state sales tax. So the answer, here's another one. In exchange, can I sell my silver without reporting the IRS? For a profit are obligated to report. So the legal answer is no. The legal answer is you have to pay taxes on it. Not financial advice, but that is the legal answer. We have 13 minutes until the Fed meeting. We'll cover that. I'll hang out here for another 13 minutes with you all. We got 25 people in the stream just chilling. We can keep it going and watch the Fed meeting together. Alrighty then. Let me get back to this here. Back to the correct screen. Jumping through all these screens, I can't find the right one. There we go. I'll sell my Eagles and some of my kilos of silver, not something else. Race Fan says no, but the percent is better than 19%. Well, I know for long-term capital gains is 19%, but Crypto Roger says, my guy pays me $1 over spot. Well, that's good for you, Crypto Roger. He knows it's going up. He's got the inside track. Okay, sir, but that's a big problem. Need a big solution. And by the way, when we hit universal income, they're going to do a tax. So they don't going to tax us anymore. I mean, we'll see. We're talking about some massive speculation eras here. Universal income. Are they going to tax universal income? And again, we have to think about what kind of catastrophe the world is in if there is a universal income. And I still think we're quite a ways away from that. They're going to have to destroy the dollar more before we get there. And hopefully we can position ourselves in advance because we see it coming. At least we're here talking about it. And we see what's happening with our dollars and we see what's happening with our assets. So we can position ourselves in the best possible situation for the next 5 to 10 years as this continues to play out. Any news on XRP staking? Will it be available anywhere? Well, XRP staking is already available on the Flare network. You have to wrap it in Flare, and you can deploy it on Flare. And then also Doppler Finance has an XRP vault that's doing a 3.3% yield right now, but that's not available in the United States. So right now, the only good yield option I know of right now is if you were to wrap it in Flare and deploy it on the Flare network. You would need to download a Bifrost wallet to do that, but there is tons of information out there on how to wrap your XRP and deploy it on the Flare network. Well, I've held my silver for over 20 years. Yeah, that is definitely a long time, Crypto Roger. 20 years of silver. Wish I held my silver for 20 years. Yes, we positioned, and the big thing is fire. Well, I hope I hope for the sake of everyone else. I mean, I know it's good for us if number goes up like that and we have these rapid appreciations, but for the sake of everyone else, I hope it really doesn't destroy the rest of the world. I mean, I'm really scared about it. Sounds complicated, and at the first time it's a little complicated, but once you do it once, it gets easier. It's just like learning any other new skill. And that's why I really think that once we get to one-click DeFi, right? Once you can just look at your XRP in a wallet and hit deploy, and then it goes into some DeFi staking option or something like that, I really think that's coming soon. I think we see that this year, where you'll actually be able to just look at whatever wallet you have your XRP in and deploy it into different areas. My opinion, not financial advice, but I do think that's coming in the near future. The Flare staking, you need to transfer your XRP from another address. Well, in order to do Flare staking, so I've done it once, so don't quote me, I've done it one time. I did it with 100 XRP just so I understood what was happening, but I had to take 100 XRP from my regular wallet. I downloaded and set up a Bifrost wallet, and I sent the XRP to my Bifrost wallet. And once the XRP is in there, I had to purchase some Flare so I could use it for gas fees. And then from there, you could mint your XRP, and you can go through their little DEX type thing and deploy it in different areas. So once you've done it a couple times, it gets easier. It's just overwhelming at first because people are worried they're going to lose their crypto. I would suggest to send over like 5 XRP and play with it, so that way you don't risk anything huge or anything like that. My opinion, but if you're curious about Flare, play around with it with 5 XRP or something like that till you get comfortable with it and start deploying stuff in other areas. Stephen Haynes says, I feel the government has to be backing these gold and silver prices on the price, because the price crashes and all of these places are holding a bunch of gold and silver, all of them would crumble. Only if they're taking out loans and leverage against the gold and silver, right? Which is probably happening right now, but I completely agree with you. Raul says he saw a video about XRP and Flare. It was too much work for him. I'm too old to do that. Wish I could do that. I mean, again, and that's why I really think that with XRP specifically, because let's be honest, I'm an older person. I'm in my 40s. But XRP is older generation coin. I mean, because we understand, we have more of an understanding of bank and finance and traditional finance than I think the younger people do. But I do think that XRP is a lot of older people, and they don't want to mess with all the hoops you have to jump through in order to deploy your XRP on DeFi. So that's why I say I really think once we get a universal, like one-click XRP DeFi solution to where we could stake or deploy our XRP just by pressing one button in our wallet, we're going to see that become a lot more useful, I think. You also can use Flare Network directly. Yes, you can also use the Flare Network directly, but I use the Bifrost wallet and access the Flare Network through the Bifrost wallet. That's just how I did it. Crypto Rogers says, peace. Well, we got 6 minutes before the, 6 minutes. We got 6 minutes before the Fed has their live information here. So we're waiting on that. We are going to watch that here in just a few minutes. Let me grab a drink here. How many people we got in here? 16 people left. All right. I kind of had a feeling it was going to die down as we started getting into the point where we were going to watch this rally or this announcement. Sorry, I just went quiet for a second. I got caught reading. What's this? All right, I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and we're going to watch this conference. I'm just going to do the. I'm going to insert an ad while I go use the restroom. I'll be right back. All right. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Just had to take a quick break. We are going to watch the press conference here in just a minute and see what's what with today's rate cuts, hopefully. I see some people joining back into the stream. So for those of you who are new, we've been going now for almost, an hour and a half, but we're going to watch the press conference from the Fed here and see what's going to happen with these rate cuts very, very soon, as well as what's going on with the rest of the crypto market and its reaction to it. Let's see here. For those of you who are coming in a little bit late, there's a few of you. I'm going to talk to a few of you all just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Price is currently at $1.91. It is a green day for crypto. And again, if you're joining us, we are here for the long view. This is a no hype, true news channel. I'm not here to give you price predictions and anything crazy, but we do follow the 5 core pillars of the channel, which is Canton Network, Ondo, HBAR, Chainlink, and XRP. These are my infrastructure plays for the tokenized financial ecosystem moving forward. This is what I'm paying attention to build out for the long view over the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and not necessarily for what the price is doing today, tomorrow, or next week. And we cover all the news every single day, including all major partnerships, announcements, and rollouts. Just to give you guys a tip on what we are doing here today, we are still waiting for this to come out, though. So we should have an answer here in about 3 minutes. I'm killing time. Let's talk to the chat why I'm killing time here. See what everyone has to say today. Sir Charles says, I think coin dealers generally do not have to file a Form 1099 when you sell American Gold Silver Eagles to them, but it doesn't remove the actual tax obligation. I'm really not sure on that, Charles. I haven't had to mess with that, to be honest with you. Do you think Trump ever made it to the depository in Fort Knox? No, I don't think he did. Quilly says, yeah, one time I tried using Hyperliquid, sending ETH from Robinhood to Hyperliquid, and it was a mess. I lost $50 I sent at test. Well, again, you have to make sure you're sending on, you have to make sure what blockchain you're sending on to. And that's where a lot of, there's still a lot, it's not as streamlined as it should be with interoperability. And that's why this is still so early. Like 5 years from now, you're not going to have that kind of confusion trying to send crypto from one wallet to another based on what chain this wallet's on and all these different things. Like there's a million different things. Let's see here. Yeshua says Iran is saying they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. Oh my goodness. Sent 0.05 ETH and the minimum was 0.5. Oh yeah, that would do it. That would certainly hurt. Sir Charles says Scott looks like he is tall AF. I'm 6 foot. I'm not like super tall. I'm 6 foot tall. Tall enough, right? Tall enough to get girls to swipe right. Because they all want to date someone who's 6 feet tall at least. Yeshua Christ is king. Maybe the effects of oil prices. Ooh, that could affect some oil prices for sure. Oil at a 3-month high, near 6-month high, and yen for all of those dominoes. You know, and that is, we'll see. I know a lot of people are hanging on to the yen carry trade, but I haven't seen it yet. All right, let's see if this press conference is going to start. Here we go. Perfect timing. It's quiet, though. They're not doing anything yet. What an exciting press conference, everybody. Yes. This press conference has the pulse of a mortuary. Welcome to the Fed. You know, if I can make this conference interesting with commentary, I think I found my calling in life. If we can somehow make financial debate like interesting for people. Is it paused? I don't know. I guess it is paused. Thanks for that.
Unchanged. Having lowered our policy rate by 75 basis points over the course of our previous 3 meetings, we see the current stance of monetary policy as appropriate to promote progress toward both our maximum employment and 2% inflation goals. I will have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a solid pace. Consumer spending has been resilient, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector has remained weak. A temporary shutdown of the federal government likely weighed on economic activity last quarter, but these effects should be reversed as the reopening boosts growth this quarter. In the labor market, indicators suggest that conditions may be stabilizing after a period of gradual softening. The unemployment rate was 4.4% in December and has changed little in recent months. Job gains have remained low. Total non-farm payrolls declined at an average pace of 22,000 per month over the last 3 months. Excluding government employment, private payrolls rose at an average pace of 29,000 per month. A good part of the slowing in the pace of job growth over the past year reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well. Other indicators, including openings, layoffs, hiring, and nominal wage growth, show little change in recent months.
So high employment, no change, inflation's going
from its
down.
highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.9% over the 12 months ending in December, and that excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.0%.
Those volatile food and energy are important, dude.
Largely reflect inflation in the goods sector, which has been boosted by the effects of tariffs. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing in the services sector. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have declined from last year's peaks, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 3.5% to 3.75%. Since last September,
no change, no rate cut,
75 basis points or 0.75 of a percentage point, bringing it within a range of plausible estimates of neutral. This normalization of our policy stance should help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2%, once the effects of tariff increases have passed through. We are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks.
He's blaming tariffs.
Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we will make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We at the Fed will continue to do our jobs with objectivity, integrity, and a deep commitment to serve the American people. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
Hi, Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. Thank you. I wanted to ask that, you attended the Supreme Court hearing last week on the Lisa Cook case, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized that as political. Can you say why you attended and what you would say in response to the Secretary's criticism?
So let me start with, I don't respond to comments by other officials, whoever they may be. It's just not appropriate to do that. I will tell you why I attended. I would say that that case is perhaps the most important legal case in the Fed's 113-year history. And as I thought about it, I thought it might be hard to explain why I didn't attend. In addition, Paul Volcker went to a Supreme Court case famously, and I guess in 1985 or so. So it's precedented, and I thought it was an appropriate thing, and I did it.
Great. And then just quickly follow on the job market. You mentioned last month that the household survey might be distorted, and you also mentioned the potential for overcounting jobs.
All right, we don't need to sit through all this.
Which would suggest that.
But there are no rate cut this quarter, it looks like, or for this meeting.
See the drop
And let's see, is the price going down? Doesn't look like it's going to have an impact on anything, at least right now. I think that was already baked in. Yeah, it's no impact on, at least on XRP. What's going on with Bitcoin here? Any change on Bitcoin? Bitcoin's going down a little bit, so we might take a little bit hit, but yeah, there's not going to be any rate cut according to them. Let's see, according to the Fed. And yes, I was an imbecile, and it was paused at the beginning. I know. I'm not. Hey, I make mistakes every once in a while too. Stephen Haynes says Trump should kick the door open, then it would be a blast to watch. That I wish I could catch that live. Like, I wish I could catch a live stream like that with something crazy like that happening. We could react to in real time. Just know what I mean, laughing out loud. We are waiting to see what happens for the 10th time out of Powell. Never proactive. Exactly. He waiting to see what happens with tariffs. He just likes to blame tariffs. That's his way of getting back at Trump, I think. It's like, okay, well, you want to blame me for not lowering rates. I'm going to blame you for the tariffs on why I'm not lowering rates. It was the whole time. It's all they've done going back and forth this entire time. But, all right, everybody, we are almost at an hour and 45 minutes. Now, I think I'm going to call it a day. I appreciate everyone for being here. Again, to my members only live stream tonight at 7 p.m. If you're not a member, make sure you can go ahead and become a member. Hit subscribe. Hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you share it far and wide. And I will see you guys on the next